Last October, in Phoenix, Arizona, Jensen Huang held up a wafer, the first U.S.-made Nvidia AI chip. He called it, quote, the single most important chip being manufactured here in the United States by the most advanced fab. Then they put it on a plane, back to Taiwan, because the most important step in making that chip doesn't exist anywhere else on Earth. This is the chip wall. In March, somebody bet $25 billion to break it. Here's what it took to build a chip in Arizona. $165 billion, 6 factories, Apple buying over 100 million chips a year, yields that match Taiwan. Everything works. So why does the wafer go on a plane? Because making a Blackwell AI chip isn't one chip, it's 2 computer brains, each one as big as a chip-making machine can physically print, plus 8 tall stacks of memory next to them, all glued onto a single piece of silicon the size of a credit card. That gluing job has a name, CoWoS, chip-on-wafer-on-substrate. Without it, the brains can't talk to the memory. The whole thing is just expensive sand. And every place on Earth that can do CoWoS at the volume Nvidia needs is in Taiwan. 3 cities, 3 packaging fabs. That's it. Nvidia has booked roughly 60% of TSMC's gluing capacity for 2026, 800,000 wafers for one customer. TSMC quadrupled that capacity in 2 years, 40,000 a month at the end of 2024, on track for 150,000 by the end of 2026. Jensen says it's still not enough. $600 billion of AI build-out, every Blackwell, every Rubin, every custom chip big tech ordered for next year, depends on one country, 3 cities, and the wafer that has to fly home. Then someone bet $25 billion to change that. March 22nd, 2026. Elon Musk took a stage in front of a defunct Austin power plant. Texas Governor Greg Abbott in the audience. Musk called it, quote, the most epic chip building exercise in history by far. The project is Terafab, Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI on one Texas campus. About 100 million square feet. Musk says it's the equivalent of 10 gigatexases combined. They couldn't fit it on the existing factory grounds. They have to build next door. At full scale, Terafab will draw 10 gigawatts of power, about 2% of the entire United States grid, for one factory. From the same Seaholm stage, Musk did the math. The world's total AI compute capacity today, he said, is about 20 gigawatts. That, in his words, is, quote, about 2% of what we need. 2 weeks later, Intel announced it was joining. On April 22nd, on Tesla's earnings call, Musk confirmed the technology, quote, 14A seems like the right move, and we have a great relationship with Intel. Here's how it works. Intel uses its newest manufacturing process, called 14A. Then Intel's own advanced packaging does the gluing job, their version of what CoWoS does in Taiwan. The big difference, Intel can package chips 12 times bigger than a normal one, with up to 24 memory stacks on top, all done in the same building where the chip is made. Intel claims their way is more efficient. About 90% of the silicon turns into usable chip. CoWoS gets 60. Now, here's what Tesla actually makes today. Their newest chip, AI5, rolled off the design board in April. At Samsung's Korea factory, the full production run will split between Samsung and TSMC. Their next chip, AI6, is being designed for Samsung's Texas factory. The one after that, AI6.5, for TSMC's Arizona factory. Notice what's missing. None of these are Terafab chips. Terafab's first chip, the one that justifies all that talk about a Texas chip campus, is still on paper, probably 2 generations from now. And here's the man whose company has to deliver it. Lip Bhutan, Intel CEO, earnings call, April 23rd. Quote, I can think of no better partner than Elon Musk. End quote. That's not a tweet. That's an investor call. Under federal disclosure rules where false statements get you sued. Tan went further. Quote, Elon and I share a strong conviction that global semiconductor supply is not keeping pace with the rapid acceleration in demand. Construction status, dirt and drainage. Pilot wafer is a 2027 prediction. Look, I want to be honest about where this could break. Stacy Rasgon is Bernstein's senior semiconductor analyst, one of the most cited chip analysts on Wall Street. When Musk announced Terafab in March, Rasgon ran the numbers and put out a client note. His verdict, quote, "A true terafab feels like a stretch to us." Bernstein's number, $5 to $13 trillion to actually build the full vision. Between 140 and 360 leading-edge fabs, more than 70% of the entire U.S. federal budget for 1 year. That is the strongest skeptic case in the public record, and it's not crazy. On the other side, Lip Bu Tan, Intel's CEO, the man whose company actually has to deliver at terafab scale. On Intel's earnings call on April 23rd, on the record, under federal disclosure rules, Tan said, "I can think of no better partner than Elon Musk." That's not a tweet. That's a CEO putting his job on the line. And here's the thing. Even Bernstein hedged. Same note. Quote, "Mr. Musk has admittedly done more than one thing that naysayers have called impossible at the outset, so we wouldn't necessarily count him out." So maybe the timeline slips. Maybe 1 terawatt becomes a tenth of that, or even 100th. The skeptics are probably right that the full vision is a stretch. But the bet doesn't depend on terafab hitting its full number. It depends on terafab hitting any number. Terafab isn't the only chip wall response. In late April, Google announced 2 new AI chips, both packaged on CoWoS in Taiwan. Microsoft put its Maya chip in production in January and bet its 3rd generation on Intel. Amazon's Trainium has been shipping since December. OpenAI's chip starts mass production in 2026, and Meta signed a 4th-generation deal with Broadcom in April. Amkor, a chip packaging company most people have never heard of, broke ground on a $7 billion Arizona facility. Apple's the first customer. Most of those chips still ship through Taiwan. The same 3 packaging fabs. Terafab is the only one that breaks both concentrations at once. Here are 3 things to watch by December of 2026. 2 good signs, 1 warning sign. 1, a good sign, if it shows up. In late October, Tesla holds its quarterly investor meeting. Watch for the first photo of a chip, any chip, coming out of the Terafab campus. Or watch Musk's X account, where it'll probably land first. A real chip means Terafab stops being a press release and becomes a factory. 2, also a good sign. On October 16th, TSMC holds its own quarterly call. Watch for anything concrete about the Arizona packaging plant. New equipment installed, customers signed up, an earlier opening date. Any of those means the wall is starting to crack. In April, TSMC's Kevin Zhang said the Arizona plant will open before 2029. Quote, "So that is still our goal. Watch for that date to come forward, or to quietly slip later." 3. The warning sign. Around November 20th, Nvidia reports earnings. Their next chip after Blackwell is called Rubin. It's supposed to ship test versions to customers by the end of 2026. Full production starts in early 2027. All of it through the same 3 Taiwan packaging fabs. If Jensen says on track, the chips ship in 2027. If he says it's slipping, every other AI chip slips with him. Google's TPU, Microsoft's Maya, OpenAI's chip, Meta's chip, they all share those same 3 Taiwan packaging fabs. 1 bottleneck, same delay. 2 good signs, 1 warning. Mark them down. We'll come back to this list at the end of 2026. Power was wall 1. Chips are wall 2. The bet is placed. It's not paid for yet. Money is wall 3, where the math actually has to finish. Bernstein already ran those numbers. $5 trillion at the floor, 13 at the ceiling, up to twice the entire U.S. federal budget. subscribe so you see it.